Welcome in, welcome in. This is your Wakanda RN. So, once again, we're solo, but it's all good though. So, I ain't gonna waste y'all's time, man. Let's go ahead and get started with today's episode. So, starting right off the bat, if you are within healthcare, you're within nursing world, I'm pretty sure by now you have heard or seen about the nurse that was on live via TikTok and was doing a MedPass. That is not an exaggeration. That's exactly what happened. Okay. So, for some of you who may not be within the loop, let me go ahead and just let you know how this happened, what transpired, community thoughts and my thoughts, right? So, she was doing a med pass live, looks like at a long term care facility. Okay. And she had, I know, at the least 50 people on her live. It could have been more. I think at one point it got in the hundreds, but it was quite a bit of people. I don't know how many followers that she currently has or whatever the case may be. But anyway, she had quite a bit of people within her live. And so she was explaining that she was doing a med pass, and right off the bat, people were having their back and forth. People were saying that, you shouldn't be on live right now during a med pass, you're violating HIPAA. Right. And so she was like, no, I'm not showing any patient information. I'm fine. Okay. And so she continued on during her med pass. There was a point in her med pass, she decided to say a patient's name. She did decide to say a patient's name during the med pass. And so that is a no-no. Okay. So let's go ahead and get that out the way. You can't do that. But that wasn't the only alarming thing. Yeah, people in her comments that were trying to tell her to stop. She would not stop, and she wouldn't take advice from anybody else during her live feed. And then she also was doing a few other things that were red flag or, not worth doing. For example, right, she had a lidocaine patch that she tore off with her teeth. Okay. Another big no-no. She's also caught during a med error or a medication error. She gave a medication at the wrong time. And she said, oh, no, it was good. No, it's not good. You know, right dose, right time, right patient, right medication. I mean, go through all your rights. Okay. And I believe the medication was scheduled for the morning and she ended up giving it in the evening. Still med error. So she was trying to say, like, oh no, it's the right med, but it's the wrong time. So if it's the wrong time, it's still technically considered a medication error. So you had that going on. Right. The med pass continues. And there was a point during her live that she was gossiping about her CNAs. Okay. There's already enough war going on between nurses and aides. So that the last thing you want is to gossip on your aides, especially on live. Okay. And so there's a point to where she takes a break. She steps outside, she's checking her live feed, and she's cursing out people that are trying to correct her. There's people that's actually trying to help her, and she's cussing them out. She's blocking people. And then you got people that were supporting this particular nurse, and I'm about to get on to that too. So a lot of content creators chimed in on this. A lot of content creators. From my community, APRN Beauty, Con, Dallas, trauma nurse, content creator, a blessed RN, these are people more so in my circle. In y'all circle, y'all may know people more like Nurse Blake. Nurse Blake has already chimed in on this, made a video about it. Somebody might correct me if I'm wrong here, but is it Nurse Mike? I think it's Nurse Mike, right? Chimed in on that as well. So those are more of your guys' circles that if you watch that type of content, I know they're the bigger content creators that have chimed in on this. And then other people as well. Content creators have chimed in, they've given their opinions. And so I think the general consensus from what I have seen is nobody is thrilled about what happened, right? I think all in all, it could be used as a huge teaching moment for sure. Just based upon the overall feedback that I have seen, this could be used more of a teaching moment, more so than bashing this particular nurse. My understanding is that her board of nursing was already involved and checking into this process. I think she's been in contact and working with them. I don't know about her employment and all that. Like, I'm not trying to like bash the person, because my thing is I want people to learn from other people's mistakes. That's the best way you can learn. You can say the best way to learn is by your own mistakes. I say the best way to learn is by learning from other people's mistakes so you don't repeat what they do. Why go through that pain and suffering if somebody else has already done it and you can just learn from it? Okay. So this is really going to help new nurses. This is going to help student nurses because this garnered so much attention. Now it's bad for the family of this particular resident. It's bad for that particular facility, obviously, because that's embarrassing. And so you had those things going on. Now, let's go to some of my personal thoughts. 'Cause I've already had a couple of videos regarding this particular issue on my own personal channel. Okay. And so I've already discussed some of these things. I'm just going in a little bit more detail because obviously this is a better platform for that. So there have been, I didn't call out, but I basically pointed out the hypocrisy of another nurse that was recording herself at work talking about the nurse who was doing a MedPass live at work. And so I have foolish people come in my video and say that, well, the difference is, well, she's not doing all these, she's not, giving medication errors, talking about people, and she's not breaking HIPAA, da 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 da. Trying to defend this other nurse. And, let's not do that. The correct answer is both parties should not record themselves at work. Let's not make this what it is. I think I know where this was going, and I need people to stop with this. Like, it's not a black and white thing. I think some people who are used to trying to race bait, there's people who are used to trying to, point out white and black issues. It's not a white and black issue. This is a right and wrong thing. Okay? Because the person that did the MedPass error, yes, she was black. Okay. But then the person that recorded, at least from my particular video that I caught, this particular nurse who was white and, recorded somebody that was black, or excuse me, was talking about the person that was black doing the MedPass. I didn't make it about that, but you could tell by the things, the way they were said, the undertones and the people that were supporting. I'm like, okay, I see where this is going. And so I'm letting you know right now, I don't allow that stuff on my channel. I'll let you say your thought. I'll let you say an initial thought. You know what I'm saying? But I don't want that stuff going around because in healthcare, I'm trying to promote unity within healthcare. I'm trying to promote unity. I want people to get better. I want people to learn from people's mistakes, regardless where you come from, your religion, race, creed, doesn't matter. I want you to learn. I want you to grow and be unified. Okay. So whether you're Sarah that's recording or Quisha over here that's recording, it don't matter to me. Like, I want people to do better and get better. So let's not do that. Let's not do that. We're not going to do that on my channel. I'm trying to promote unity here, but I'm pointing out the hypocrisy because nurses don't need to be recording themselves at work. And I know some of you are going to be mad listening to this because that's what you do. But guess what? The algorithm of things have evolved to a point to where that's what people think other people want. And let me tell you something too. Other people have gotten away with it, right? Other people have gotten away with it. They've gotten away with it. They seem like their favorite content creators recording themselves at work, and so they think they can do so. And I can go all the way back to there's some, I can't remember his name, bro, but I know Nurse Blake was using green screen and a lot of his stuff. You know what I'm saying? And look where he is now. Now I don't know. I haven't seen every Nurse Blake video, so some people may be like, "Oh no, he recorded at work." But the ones that I seen, I didn't see every video. The ones I saw, he wasn't doing that. And then there's another content creator. I want to say he was ER Tech, and now he does a lot of comedic stuff. Excuse me. I remember watching a lot of his stuff in 2020. And is it Stevie Joe? I'm not even going to try to get it wrong. But he was using green screen, right? Pretending that he was doing these skits and scenarios at an emergency department when he wasn't, right? So you people need to do the same, right? If you want to green screen, that's a good suggestion. If you want to make healthcare content, you might want to give disclaimer in your content saying that, I'm on my break or I came in on my day off. I got permission from my facility. Because some of y'all, man, y'all just out here just being wild and like, I'm just going to hit record and whatever happens, happens. And I think some of it can be seen in a positive light because I think some of it is seen like, okay, we have heightened awareness of, some of the personalities of the nurses and healthcare staff that we currently have, you know what I'm saying? And you kind of see some day-to-day life activities, but y'all need to be very careful. I know some of you have great visuals, some of you have great personalities, some of you may need to go more into like that beauty, care type content, but not necessarily make it about nursing because some of y'all are really good at what you do. You just need to tweak that a little bit because let me tell you something, no matter what, on the outside looking in, the general public is always going to look down. I know some of you probably is like, what? Who do we care about? Why do we care about the general public? Well, if we want things done for us in the future, that's something that matters. Optic matters. We are in a field to where no matter how you want to slice it and dice it, that's not going to change about how people feel about nurses. Because guess what? We're looked at as this hospitality type field, right? And we're supposed to come in with humility and all that stuff. And sometimes, if especially we want things done for us, especially legally, legislation wise, I mean, sometimes those optics does matter. So I think there's a time, place, and space in terms of content creation, just not necessarily at work, right? I'm just gonna leave it right there. You know what I'm saying? Y'all gonna chime in and say what y'all want to say, but I'm just a person on the outside looking in. Or excuse me, I'm on the inside. I'm trying to look out. Pardon me. So you know what I'm saying. So that's my thoughts regarding this nurse, this MedPass, and all that, man. So be careful. Be careful. If you're new, be careful. If you've been doing this, stop. But also be careful because I don't want you to lose your license. I don't want you to appear before your board of nursing and have to explain everything, right? Because the board of nursing, they're the ones who are going to determine whether or not, like, okay, well, they can keep their license or not. Well, this is worth it. This wasn't worth it. So they're going to make that final judgment. So we just don't put yourself in that particular situation. So there's that. All right, y'all. Let's talk about some other things, man. It's kind of crazy, man. This is an interesting world we living in today. So the first thing I want to discuss and or talk about is this. Let's see here. It is the first AI hospital in China. The first AI hospital in China. So China announces the world's first AI hospital, marketing Asia's leadership in healthcare innovation. It's crazy just the more I'm looking at this. So a healthcare transformation in the heart of Asia. Agent Hospital, much like Stanford's AI town that garnered global attention last year, demonstrate China's leadership in the fusion of AI and healthcare. Capable of diagnosing and treating over 1,000 patients a day just in a few days, 10,000 patients a day just in a few days, a task that would take human doctors 2 years, these AI doctors have achieved 93.0.6 accuracy rate on the MedQA dataset. Their proficiency in simulating the entire care process from diagnosis to follow up is reshaping medical science. The hospital includes 14 AI doctor agents and 4 AI nursing agents working in environments designed to simulate real world medical practice, improving patient outcomes, and offering a risk free training environment for medical students. That is insane. That is insane. It's kind of cool though, but it's also pretty insane too. Asia is merging as a global hub for innovation, AI, and medtech. Agent Hospital is a prime example of how AI driven healthcare solutions are enhancing medical efficiency and revolutionizing healthcare delivery. These advancements also highlight new opportunities for medical education, healthcare logistics, which have the potential to influence global hospital management models. So yeah, man, that it's gonna be interesting. And it goes on and on and on. So you guys can check this out. This is you can just put it into Chat GPT or whatever. It gets pretty cool. So right off the bat, and some of you have already known if you listen to anything AI, this shouldn't be anything surprising to any of you whatsoever. It shouldn't be surprising. Now, I think what was also shocking to me is that they treated over 10,000 patients in a few days. 10,000 patients with a 93% accuracy.
Hey, you. Yes, you. You've made it this far, so go ahead and give a like or a follow. I appreciate it.
So, what is that going to look like for the future of healthcare? Who knows? Who knows? Really, is it any surprise that China's doing it first? To me, it's no surprise whatsoever. Because if you, I mean, just think about this, man. I mean, do I think that right now that we're going to see replacement in nurses and things like that? I absolutely not. But do I think it's beneficial for nurses and doctors to try to come up with their own innovation? Absolutely. Do I think it's time to push the envelope, to push the limits on the human limits? I think so, because if you think about it, this is something that's going to be coming. I know I talked about it a few months ago that I think it was in Arizona, I believe, that they wanted to pass a bill allowing prescriptions to like you had an AI pharmacist pretty much. So these things are going to be coming. I do feel for people in healthcare that can you imagine you go to school all these years, right? You're a pharmacist, you become a doctor, and then you're told that, oh, we're going to save a buck because we have AI now. Can you imagine that? That to me, that is very wild. I can see the use in terms of like at least immediate how they talked about medical students. I think it'd be cool to watch that from a medical student's perspective. It'd be cool in that regard, but it's not cool because can you think about it? You're watching, like, think about it. You're a med student, you're even a nursing student, right? And you're watching AI do your job at a much faster rate in terms of, you do like, let's say you do a head to toe assessment and AI can just gather the information like that, like what a scan or something. They just gather the information, or you put in like your patient history, you put in like what you're here for, your chief complaint, like let's say, I don't know, you do that yourself. And then so the AI robot will generate your whole treatment plan, your whole care plan. Like we're not even talking about just doctors and we're not talking about doctors, we're not talking about just nurses, we're talking about all the way down. We're talking about case management, we're talking about PT, OT, we're talking about, I mean, it just goes, it's a whole trickle down effect, man. We're talking about MDS. You think about it, the medical data sheets, personnel, like, just think about that, MDS. So it gets real tricky because it's a real trickle down effect. It's not just doctors, it's not just nurses, like it affects the whole interdisciplinary team that AI will be put in place for. Now, the thing that I think separates the AIs right now more so than anything from a human being is obviously that that TLC, that tender love and care, that empathy aspect, the sympathy aspect. I mean, that's what you want. Especially, let's say that you're hospitalized for many, many days. And yes, maybe they can come up with the accurate treatment plan. They can come up with the best treatment plan, but you still want a human being to provide that care for you because human beings need other human beings. We need each other, right? So that's the thing I think I want people to definitely focus on. I think human beings should focus on how can I use AI to be better at their profession right now. I think instead of people being scared about is AI going to take my job, is AI going to take this, I think the right mindset is to have is how can I utilize AI right now to be the most valuable person I can be at my current place of employment, or how can I use AI to get a step up? Can I move up the chain? Can I move up the ladder? You know what I'm saying? Like I think people should be focused on creativity during this time. Don't be scared of AI. Just figure out how to best use AI, if that makes sense. And of course, I was briefly talking about, prescriptions and all that. So let's go to, you know what I'm saying? I want to talk about, let's see. Let's talk about Walgreens. Walgreens. So it turns out Walgreens turns to robots to fill prescriptions as pharmacists take on more responsibilities. This is an article published by CNBC. And so here we go. Some key points. Walgreens Boots Alliance is opening up robot powered micro fulfillment centers across the U.S. to fill customers' prescriptions as the roles of stores and pharmacists change. The drugstore chain plans to open 22 facilities across the country. By 2025, as much as half of Walgreens' total prescription volume could be filled at automatic hubs, says Rex Swords, who oversees the work of facilities as Walgreens Group President of Centralized Services Operations and Planning. So pretty close to home for me. So this article is North Lake, Texas. And it's talking about inside a large facility in the Dallas area, they filled thousands of prescriptions for customers who take on medications to manage or treat high blood pressure, diabetes, or other conditions. Each robot can fill 300 prescriptions in an hour, the company said. Roughly the same number what a typical Walgreens pharmacy with a handful of staff may do in a day. Think about that, man. That's crazy. Let's see. So the Walgreens Boots Alliance has opened up the automatic central hubs to keep up in the fast-paced changing pharmacy industry. The pandemic has intensified the drug chains store to stay relevant as online pharmacies siphon off of sales and more customers have items from toilet paper to toothpaste delivered to their doorstep. The global health crisis has also heightened the demand for pharmacists as hospitals and drugstores hired them to administer COVID vaccines and tests. So that has forced Walgreens and its competitors, CVS Health, Rite Aid, to rethink the role of their stores and pharmacists. And so it goes on and on. You guys will be able to read this and kind of get your thoughts. But basically, the AI robots, or excuse me, these robots are able to basically speed up the work. They're able to speed up the work. So, which is also pretty crazy. They're able to speed up the work. You know what I'm saying? Fill up one robot can fill up 300 prescriptions in a day. I mean, I'm just telling you, man, like it really gets rid of the need for pharmacy techs. So some of you may not know you have pharmacy techs that work within these pharmacies and, they help with these, medications, right? So it kind of helps eliminate the need for pharmacy techs. They're talking about keeping up the fast pace of the industry, which it ties into a lot, right? But if you think about it like this, the pharmaceutical company wouldn't be what it is if individuals were healthier. Think about it. Think about it. They talked about blood pressure, diabetes, all these things, right? Which I know more people are genetically, aware, more people are genetically prone, right, to these type of disease processes. But however, I mean, if you think about it, man, which I know I was reading something about Ozempic and these fat loss drugs were causing people to, I guess, like the national diabetes percentages were starting to drop a little bit for the first time. But just think about like how much if people actually had a proper sleep cycle, they were properly hydrated, they had a proper workout regimen, right? And realizing just getting that weight off will actually just help get rid of some of these disease process that they have, or at least keep them at bay to where they don't need as many medications. I mean, think about it like this: if you could get off, some of you probably listening right now, you probably have a polypharmacy right now. You have a whole list of medications that you take right now. Just think how you would feel if you got off half those medications, or let's say you can only take 1/4 of those medications. So if you're listening, I'm challenging you to be healthy, because all we're doing right now is helping to fill the pockets of these pharmaceutical companies. I mean, literally, they're making money off of people's health. I know some people can't help it. There's some disease processes like they literally can't help, but I think a big majority of us can help this out. Just a little food for thought. Just a little food for thought. A little pun intended. Little food for thought. So yeah, man. Once again, AI robots, they ain't going nowhere. They ain't going nowhere. They're here to stay. So, but what are we gonna do about it? What are we gonna do about it? That's the question. What are we gonna do about it? You know what I'm saying? Don't let tough times cower you down. Don't let tough times bring you down. Don't let the thought of this scare you. Do what you can while you can. That's what I do. Do what you can while you can. Some of you probably already knew this information. Some of you, this is brand spanking new. So I had to bring this information to you. But I'm curious to know, man. Please let me know what you think. Please chime in on this episode. Chime in on these videos. Let me know, what do you think? What do you think about robots filling prescriptions? You know what I'm saying? And that's supposed to be on the increase. We're gonna see more of these in the United States. More of these probably globally. Let me know. What do you think about AI hospital? It seems like something that's science fiction, but it's here now. What do you think about that? What do you think about that? Would you rather have a human being taking care of you, or do you care that the Terminator is coming in and taking basically just gathering your information and generating a type of care plan? I mean, yeah, let me know. You know what I'm saying? And for my young nurses and my nursing students, you know, let's learn from other people's mistakes. I want you worked very hard for your license. You worked very hard to get to where you're at. I want you to keep your license. Please keep your license. Please keep your license. Oh, this is the episode I got for you guys today. If there's other episode topics, please let me know in the comments. If you love this, please donate to the channel. There should be links no matter where you see this at for you to donate to the channel. Your donations go a long way. Uh, just give me a like, man. Give me a like, a share, follow, tell your friends. At the very least, about your Wakanda RN, because I'm gonna give you pertinent information. I'm gonna give you information I feel like you guys need and will enjoy. So definitely, man, go share this with somebody. Let people know. Let people know. Let them in with your Wakanda RN. Yeah, man. Anyway, this is your friend Wakanda RN. I love you guys. I love you. You're worthy. Okay. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're alive. I'm glad you took a listen. Okay. I want to let you know that. All right. So until next time, I love you guys. Be blessed. And I am out.